People typically look for two things in family vehicles: space and dependability. Given that they do have an average lifespan of 225,000 miles, Honda minivan seems like the ideal option. In this brief video, we'll discuss the most typical Honda Odyssey problems and try to gauge how dependable it is. But before we start, please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Transmission problems. As a result of numerous reports of similar transmission juddering at specific speeds, Honda released Service Bulletin 1743 to address the problem. Dealerships frequently blame torque converter damage on this juddering issue prior to the release of this service bulletin. However, the service bulletin claims that the worn-out transmission fluid is to blame for this juddering. The NHTSA complaints contradict the bulletin's claim that only vehicles manufactured between 2014 and 2017 were impacted. Numerous reports from 2011 to 2017 are comparable. Honda decided to first flush the transmission and refill it with brand new transmission fluid after issuing the service bulletin before providing free torque converters. New transmission fluid did fix the problem for some owners. If you're looking for an Odyssey that is out of warranty, make sure the transmission is always shifting precisely and smoothly. Verify the history of the car to make sure the transmission fluid was changed on schedule. Battery charge low warning lights. The Honda Odyssey model year 2011 has the most instances of this problem. Many owners complain about their car batteries being constantly discharged. This has caused a number of owners to swap out good batteries for new ones, which also failed for an unknown reason. Even though it doesn't appear that any systems are using up the battery life, the battery completely drains in a matter of days. Keep this problem in mind if you're shopping for a 2011 Odyssey because it happens more frequently than you might think. Premature engine piston wear. The 2013 model year Odyssey issue is the more serious one. Engine problems have been reported in a large number of 2013 Honda vehicles. Some pistons have received improper heat treatment as a result of poor quality management. The hardness and longevity of the pistons depend on proper heat treatment. Without it, the pistons are vulnerable to premature wear, which can seriously harm the engine. With the 2013 recall, Honda mandated that the affected vehicle's engine short blocks be replaced. However, even in vehicles and model years that were allegedly unaffected, complaints of piston failures have been reported. Run the VIN if you're interested in a 2013 model Odyssey to see if the recall has been addressed. Power sliding doors. Due to the rear power sliding doors' ongoing problems, many NHTSA complaints are made. Many owners encounter motor assembly failure, while others struggle with rusting door cables and other problems. Many owners complain that their doors frequently fail to completely close. The 2011 to 2020 model years are affected by these problems. Honda also started a recall campaign in 2020 because the power sliding doors might open while the vehicle is moving. Water got inside the sliding door handle cables for the outer doors, which caused a problem. The water froze, making it impossible for the front and back sliding doors to latch securely. Honda also recalled specific Odyssey models for the 2018 and 2019 model years due to defective power sliding door latch assemblies. Because the doors were unable to latch properly due to the defective latch assemblies, the risk of injury was greatly increased. Examine the power sliding doors in great detail if you're ever considering a newer or older model year Odyssey. Dashboard and entertainment system issues. The instrument panel is prone to issues because of a software error in the instrument panel control module. If the motorist unexpectedly loses access to important data like speed, RPMs, engine oil pressure, etc., it is viewed as a significant safety concern. This occurred on a specific Odyssey from the 2018 to 2020 model years, prompting Honda to start a recall campaign. This campaign made sure that the instrument panel control module was updated for all owners of impacted vehicles. Additionally, there have been a lot of NHTSA complaints about problems with the infotainment system and instrument cluster on model years that weren't covered by the aforementioned recall. If you ever find yourself in the market for an Odyssey, give the dashboard a close look. Piston ring failures. Excessive engine blow caused by damaged piston rings contaminates the spark plugs, which results in misfiring and stalling of the engine. This is a serious problem that Honda hasn't dealt with. Even worse, the NHTSA reports cases of this nature from 2011 to 2016. Not to mention that, depending on the degree of previous damage, repair costs can range from $3,000 to $6,000 per item. When inspecting the Odyssey from model years 2011 to 2016, keep this problem in mind. Verify that the engine is not sputtering or misfiring and is operating smoothly. Chirping engine noise. On the Odyssey for the 2016 model year, a common problem is a sound that many owners describe as chirping. It is important to note that similar issues have been reported to NHTSA in complaints for later model years. Honda has issued Service Bulletin 1654 in response to the chirping. The timing belt making contact with the crankshaft pulley's back edge causes the chirping. The idler pulley shim was installed after an inspection of the affected vehicles. Braking issues. The Odyssey is a big car to stop. Honda seems to be taking its time to acknowledge this reality, which has led to numerous complaints over the years. The 2011 to 2019 model years were the subject of the majority of complaints regarding the violent shaking and warped brake rotors. Driving in hilly areas makes this even more typical. Hard braking and overheating both result in warped rotors. The steering wheel vibrates and requires expensive replacement when brake discs warp due to overheating. Honda failed to improve the braking system to the point where it could stop a heavy vehicle like the Odyssey regularly. Instead, they chose not to address this problem with a recall. Delayed engagement. Your transmission specialist will undoubtedly use the phrase delayed engagement. It describes the period of time between depressing the gas pedal and the beginning of your car's acceleration. It is a frustrating transmission issue that you do not want to be dealing with in a car that is not too old. Sadly, we have noticed instances of hesitation like this in the Odyssey model years 2018 to 2019 with the 9-speed automatic transmission. Additionally, a lot of owners complain that these model years transmissions hard shift and are jerky. Therefore, check the transmission before making a purchase. Paint quality issues. In particular, Odysseys painted in white frequently experience poor paint quality in the 2011 and 2012 model years. Honda even issued Service Bulletin 1956 in 2019, extending the warranty for the taffeta white painted models from 2011 to 12 models. Large patches of peeling paint were a common problem for owners, which forced Honda into a difficult situation. According to NHTSA complaints, owners continue to report the same issues with vehicles from the 2015 model year and earlier.